Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. We have got a very rustic piece of scenery today as we're away for the weekend, but that doesn't mean we are not here to talk to you about Chelsea versus Brentford in the Premier League. Again, another match that I am very, very excited for. Excited for all of the reasons that you will have heard if you would have watched the podcast that was uploaded yesterday, an episode of 3 More Points. Harry was with me. We were talking about how Mauricio Pochettino revolutioned, which of course isn't a word, but I went to bed last night with that in my title. Revolutionised was what I was looking for. And I'm hoping, and I'm thinking, and I'm believing that when we go into this game at Stamford Bridge in the early kickoff tomorrow, gassed about that as well, I'm thinking we're going to see more of the Chelsea evolution. Can we make it 5 games in a row without losing? That's what we're looking for. We want to convert the draw against Arsenal, the positives of that performance, into a win. Before we do get into anything though, I want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor. Football is now well and truly back underway in the Premier League and across the UK, and our friends at PARIMATCH UK are offering £40 in free bets. That's right, over at PARIMATCH UK, all you got to do is open a new account. This is for new customers only. Place a £10 bet on any footballing market with odds of even or above within the first 7 days of you joining PARIMATCH Online, and you guys will get yourselves £40 of free bets. Full terms and conditions apply, of course, with all the links that you need to get started in the description down below. Thank you very much to PARIMATCH again. Let's get back into the video. And we are back. Chelsea are going into this game. The table still doesn't really look pretty, but the trajectory is something that we can be absolutely excited about. We're playing against the Brentford team, who are pretty scary at times. They've got a lot of pace in that team. They can score goals. They're quite difficult to beat, having only lost 3 of their opening 9 games, the same as Chelsea, but they've only managed to win 2 of them whilst drawing 4. So going into this one at Stamford Bridge, every single time I've seen Chelsea play recently, from the Brighton Cup game all the way through to the first 70 minutes, and I would still say the final 20 minutes, even when we conceded 2 against Arsenal, we are seeing a better attitude from these players than we saw in the whole of last season in these previous 4 games. Not only that, we're starting to see patterns of play formulating in the final third, which is allowing Chelsea to finally look a threat in front of goal. We're starting to score the chances that we believe we should be scoring, and defensively, we're looking solid, and the midfield 3 of Enzo, Caicedo and Gallagher is very quickly becoming formidable. I think a lot of teams are going to look at this Chelsea midfield, and teams are going to start to set up against Chelsea thinking, right, we know that this is going to be a staple in this Chelsea lineup. We know how all of these guys seem to play together. And I think now, as it's been before, Chelsea have kind of been trying to formulate a tactical plan to be able to beat opposition. I think there's a change of the guard, a change of the wind here, and I think that is all down to the established midfield that we are now seeing of Gallagher, Enzo and Caicedo. But without any further ado, let's start, of course, as we always do, from the back of the pack. And we begin with Robert Sanchez in goal for Chelsea. I think at this point in time, we have not seen Petrovic at all. He didn't feature in the game against Brighton in the Cup. Maybe we see him against Blackburn in the Carabao Cup next week. But Sanchez, even if I'm not fully convinced, at this point it is so evident he's Chelsea's number 1. There have been conversations that have been had this week. The Athletic did a big post talking about the way that Chelsea see Robert Sanchez as their number 1. Of course, with Ben Roberts as the goalkeeping coach, the man that worked with Sanchez whilst he was in his best form at Brighton. To me, I think they're going to keep backing him. But what we absolutely have to see is the high-profile mistakes disappearing. I spent the whole of last week reminding you of how I said distribution against Arsenal is the key. Could it be 3 points? Could it be 1? Could it be a fat 0? It was the difference between Chelsea winning and not winning this game. So for Sanchez, we've got to be aware of Brentford. They're very good going forward. And again, he's got to rectify these errors. We can't keep seeing Sanchez errors leading to points for the other team, points drop for Chelsea, and then expecting a conversation to not exist about, well, we clearly need a better goalkeeper, because at the moment, week by week, he had a good run of games. Last week he screwed up, and the more he keeps doing that, the more we're all going to be sat here talking about Chelsea need a high-profile top-name keeper. we move into a back four. Let me just remind myself of this one because I've never selected this back four before for Chelsea, but after what I saw last week against Arsenal, I'm sticking with it. I'm going with Malo Gusto, Thiago Silva, Levi Colwill in his preferred left centre-back position, with Marc Cucurella continuing at left-back. And I think this is also another one of those positive signs of the week for Chelsea. We spoke about it in the pod yesterday. Players that I would literally have sat in front of this very camera and said, they're not good enough for Chelsea. I don't want to see them play for us again. Don't think it was ever that bad with Cucurella in terms of the strongness of those words. But the way that Cucurella, since he had that couple of games playing in the right-back position when we had all of those injuries and suspensions, the man seems to be having a remontada of remontadas right now in a Chelsea shirt. So when it comes to picking him, I'm not going to pick Maatsen because we've never seen him play there before under Pochettino. And Cucurella is doing well. And when it comes to Reece James, I think we're going to be very cautious with him. We have seen so many flipping times with this guy. Even though he's Chelsea's captain, throughout his Chelsea career, it's been welcome back, Reece. We see a burst, we see some brilliant energy, we see a great performance, and then the game doesn't even finish before he's hoiked off again. And I think Gusto, the way that he played against Arsenal last week, he absolutely deserves to keep Reece on the bench right now, which is, again, meritocracy. Always talk about this. Gusto's been good enough. And then at the same time, let's just nurse Reece back in. I think there's definitely a world where Chelsea can be looking 60, 70 minutes into this game, hopefully, with a comfortable lead that we can bring Reece on. He doesn't have to change the game with those bombing forward runs and then big tracks back. And hopefully, we can just keep slowly giving him minutes to get him back to the level of fitness that he needs to be for all of these redonkulous football matches that we've got coming up. Tottenham away, Newcastle away, City at home. Then we've got flipping Brighton, Manchester United. It's not going to be easy. That is why we've got to win this bloody game. So, how do Chelsea win this game? With a midfield three of Enzo, Caicedo and Gallagher. I'm not questioning it. I'm telling you. The reason we win this game is due to the form of these three players. They have been absolutely magnificent. And what I love about the balance of this midfield is that it's still not perfect. And I believe the reason it's not perfect is because we need more from Enzo Fernandez. A player who I think of all three of those players, I've got the most faith in the level of the ability. Do you know what I mean? Caicedo, we're starting to see now what he was doing at Brighton. Asked to sit in front of the defence, break up the play, have that quick little eye to know whether it's a short pass, a long pass that needs to happen. Gallagher is the workhorse. He is the man putting in 100 and flipping 10% effort every single time. So if we can just get that final piece, Enzo cracking, getting the ball in the final third if he's there, at least getting a shot on target, mate. Stop blazing it over the bloody bar. And as well as that, I want to see him operating a bit deeper. Use Gallagher slightly further up the field to allow Enzo to start orchestrating those balls to a Sterling on the left, Palmer on the right, hinting as to what we're going to see now in my Chelsea front three. Palmer, Jackson through the middle, and Raheem Sterling. The debate continues about, is there going to be a Chelsea striker signing in January? I personally believe if it is, it should probably be a big name striker. Are they going to be available in January? We don't know. So for that reason, I think in a game against Brentford, where Chelsea are going to have chances, we're going to create, and there's an opportunity here to get a big win, I think Jackson needs to play. Because if we're not going to sign a striker, is Nkunku a 9? Is he going to be a 10? Will we revert to a 4-2-3-1? We don't know these answers yet. It all depends on the upcoming games. But the striker needs goals. When you look at the form of Cole Palmer, he's delivering. Yes, it's from the penalty spot, but we need that calmness, that coolness. And we're winning penalties because we're getting the ball in the final flipping third. Raheem Sterling as well. I absolutely think he's a man on a mission this season, trying to isolate those defenders. Pochettino is working wonders now with this team. And I go into this game very, very confident. I wasn't overly confident against Arsenal last week, which would have been foolish, would have been stupid, would have been unnecessary really to be like, yeah, we're going to flip and beat Arteta's Arsenal. We nearly did, if it wasn't for a stupid goalkeeping error and a lack of concentration. But I do believe we are going to win this game by 3-0. And if you do back the PARIMATCH bet boost that we spoke about within the sponsor earlier, although we didn't speak about it in the integration, but if you do back the boost this week, Jackson and Palmer to both score was 37-1. It's now 45-1. And with Cole Palmer on penalties, Chelsea getting a lot of penalties, Nicholas Jackson through the middle, I think that is a solid bet, in my personal opinion. But anyway, going to wrap this one up here. It is a Friday. I'm very aware that the lighting has got slightly worse since we started recording this video, but if you did enjoy it, please be sure to hit the like button on the video, subscribe to GBFC if you are new, and another shout out for Shootout. Daily videos are back over on my channel with Eunice. So the link to that is in the description. And I'll see you guys tomorrow because we're adding another new strand to the channel. We're bringing match day vlogs back from Bali. If you know what I mean, it's going to be like a vlog of the day. What do I get up to? It's an early kickoff tomorrow, so I won't be dead to the world or too pissed, hopefully. That's what we're going for. I'll see you guys there. Come on, you Blues.